What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams. Happy Wednesday, and today we're going to be taking a look at the next to last film that my girlfriend hand selected for me to review. And we're going to take a look at The Great Race, starring Jack Lemmon, Tony Curtis, Natalie Wood, Peter Falk, Keenan Wynn, Arthur O'Connell, Vivian Vance, Denver Pyle, and Hal Smith. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. As I said in the introduction, it's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I hope your week is going good for you so far. And today we're going to take a look at the next to last movie that my girlfriend hand selected for me to review this month, as we have been celebrating her birthday all August. This one is called The Great Race. And as our movie opens, the great Leslie and Professor Fate are competing daredevils at the turn of the 20th century. Leslie is your classic hero archetype, always dressed in white. He's handsome, and he's ever courteous, enormously talented, and successful. Now, Leslie's nemesis, Professor Fate, is the traditional melodramatic villain, usually dressed in black, sports a black mustache and top hat, and he possesses a maniacal, evil laugh, and is filled with grandiose plans to thwart the hero, but is dogged by failure. Leslie proposes an automobile race from New York to Paris and offers the Weber Motor Car Company the opportunity to build an automobile specifically for Leslie to make the journey. They go ahead and they design a car for him called the Leslie Special, while Professor Fate builds his own car, the Hannibal Twin 8, complete with hidden devices of sabotage. Now, other car owners enter the race, including one owned by New York City's most prominent newspaper. Driving the newspaper's car is the beautiful photojournalist Maggie Dubois, a vocal suffragist. A 7-car race begins, but Fate's sidekick, Maximilian Mean, has sabotaged 4 other cars, including his own by mistake, leaving just 3 cars in the race. The 3 surviving teams are Leslie, with his loyal valet, Hezekiah Sturdy, Maggie Dubois, driving a Stanley steamer, and Fate and Max. Now, the steamer breaks down, and Maggie accepts a ride from the Leslie Special. Fate arrives first at a fueling point in the western town of Baracho. A local outlaw named Texas Jack becomes jealous of the attraction to Leslie being shown by Lily Olay, a showgirl, and a saloon brawl breaks out as a result. Fate sneaks outside amidst the chaos, steals the fuel that he needs, and destroys the rest. Leslie then uses mules to pull his car to another refueling point, where Maggie tricks Hezekiah into boarding a train and then handcuffs him to a seat, and then proceeds to lie to Leslie and says that Hezekiah quit and went back to New York. The 2 cars that remain reach the Bering Strait, and they park side by side in a blinding snowstorm. Keeping warm during the storm, Leslie and Maggie begin to see each other as more than competitors. Some mishaps, including a polar bear that gets into Professor Fate's car, compel all 4 racers to warm themselves inside of Leslie's car. They awaken on a small ice floe, which drifts into their intended Russian port, where Hezekiah is waiting for Leslie. who in turn casts off Maggie for deceiving him. Maggie is then snatched by Fate, who drives off in the lead. After driving across Asia, both cars enter the tiny kingdom of Carpania, whose alcoholic crown prince, Friedrich Hapnick, is the spitting image of Professor Fate. Plotters, under the leadership of Baron Rolf von Stoop and General Custer, kidnap the prince, Fate, Max, and Maggie. Now, Max is able to escape and he joins Leslie to rescue the others. Fate is forced to masquerade as the prince during the coronation so that the rebels can gain control of the kingdom. Leslie and Max overcome von Stoop's henchmen and confront von Stoop. Following a climactic sword fight with Leslie, von Stoop attempts to escape by leaping to a waiting boat, but he bursts the hull and sinks it. Leslie and Max then return the real prince to the capital just in time to defeat Custer's plan for a military coup. Fate, who's still masquerading as the prince, takes refuge in a bakery but falls into a huge cake. A pie fight ensues involving the racers, the princess men, and the conspirators, and the five racers, covered in pie filling, depart Carponia with King Friedrich's best wishes. As the racers leave Pottsdorf with Maggie now back in Leslie's car, it becomes a straight road race to Paris. Nearing Paris, Leslie and Maggie have a spirited argument regarding the roles of men and women and sex in relationships. Leslie stops his car just short of the finish line underneath the Eiffel Tower in order to prove that he loves Maggie more than he cares about winning the race. Fate drives past them and claims the winner's mantle, but he becomes indignant that Leslie let him win. Fate then demands a rematch, a race back to New York City. The return race commences with newlyweds Leslie and Maggie, now an official team. Fate lets them start first and then attempts to destroy their car with a small cannon. The shot misses the Leslie special, knocking down the Eiffel Tower instead, as our movie comes to its close. This was a fun little film. Definitely goofy, very slapsticky in its execution. But it took me back to the days when I would go to the All American Melodrama Theater in Long Beach, California, down at Shoreline Village. Last I checked, the building was still there, but there wasn't plays and melodramas that ran there anymore. Now, at the Melodrama Theater, you cheered the hero, you booed the villain, you sighed for the heroine, the damsel, and the audience participation was all encouraged. They wanted to hear us. Every time the villain took the stage, they wanted us to boo as loud as we could. Every time the hero took the stage, they wanted us to cheer as loud as we could, etc., etc. And this very much took me back to that with Leslie in white, the dashing hero, with the villain and the mustache and the top hat and everything about it just took me back to that. This movie also kind of inspired Wacky Racers. Dick Dastardly, Muttley, etc. Very much kind of inspired by this movie. And watching it, you could definitely see it. Like, I had never seen this movie before. I knew Wacky Racers, and it's just kind of a spitting image there between Professor Fate and Dick Dastardly. And Max becomes Muttley. Probably the thing that I enjoyed the most about this, and it's going to seem silly, because it's very much a small thing. But seeing Keenan Wynn, who played Hezekiah in this, I only knew of Keenan Wynn as the voice of the Winter Warlock from Santa Claus is Coming to Town, the Rankin Bass special. So being able to see him as a person acting in a role instead of as a claymation cartoon character, I enjoyed that. Probably more than I should have. Natalie Wood, I thought, looked gorgeous. Tony Curtis did an amazing job as Professor Leslie. Jack Lemmon was outstanding as Professor Fate. Everybody really kind of dug their nails into their role, understood that it was all in fun and games, and you could tell that they didn't take it serious and they were really having fun with it, especially Jack Lemmon. Oh my God, you could tell he was enjoying the crap out of this film. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was cracking up. It's one of the few movies that my girlfriend handpicked for me this month that she actually sat there and watched with me from start to finish. There were a few of them that she watched part of and then she'd come lay down for bed because she gets up at like 3 o'clock in the morning to go to work. There were other movies where she would just pop in and out for her favorite scenes. But this one, she sat there and watched with me from start to finish. And I think that helped me enjoy it even more because I was sharing it with her. And this movie was a long one. It clocks in at about 2 hours and 40 minutes, but it doesn't feel like 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's very well paced. So that was definitely a good thing because I was hesitant when I saw that. When I saw that this was going to be an almost 3 hour movie, I was like, oh my God, okay, here we go. Let me buckle in. And aside from the overture in the very beginning and the intermission, which again really gave it that classic melodrama, almost vaudevillian vibe, the whole movie, the story of it just flowed. There really wasn't any dead beats throughout the whole story. So when it comes to the Great Race, I am going to give this film 4.5 out of 5 stars. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Definitely going to be looking to find it on physical media so I can add it to my collection. Put it right next to my copy of Wacky Racers. So I'm 99% positive I have a Wacky Racers DVD. It may not be the complete series, but I'm pretty sure I found like a standalone disc of some of the racers at like Dollar Tree. Definitely want to find this, put it next to that, have it for my own ever growing library. Those of you that have seen The Great Race out there, what did you think? Let me know. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. And let's have that conversation, that discussion, that debate, that interaction that I'm always asking you guys for in the comments below. And make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, right here to the Casa D18 Studios channel for a very special Thursday episode of Renegades Reviews as we wrap up the month of movies hand selected by my girlfriend and we discuss Start the Revolution Without Me, starring Gene Wilder, Donald Sutherland, Hugh Griffith, Jack McGowran, Billy Whitelaw, Victor Spinetti, Ewa Allen, Helen Fraser, and Orson Welles. You don't want to miss out on that. Right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, special Thursday episode of Renegades Reviews, Start the Revolution Without Me. For those of you wondering why we're doing the special Thursday episode, keep in mind we did fall behind earlier this month. I was originally going to do a double feature on Monday. Didn't have the time to film, edit everything, so I just figured let's do it this way. Still get our stuff in before the month ends, and we click over to the new theme for September. Everything handled. And I know you don't want to miss any of that. So make sure you smash that like button, Make sure you subscribe. Make sure that notification bell is turned on so you don't miss out anytime a video drops right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel or anytime we go live, as is the case with Statboy Sports Bar, Open Mic Night, pay-per-view PLE watch-along coverage, etc. Share these videos with your family, friends, loved ones, coworkers, movie fanatics, cinephiles in your life. Fans of Tony Curtis, fans of Jack Lemmon, fans of Natalie Wood, fans of Hal Smith, fans of Keenan Wynn, anybody you can think of that would enjoy this content in this video, share it with them, as it's the only way we're going to keep my visibility up in YouTube's algorithms now that we are in fact a monetized channel right here on the platform. Thank you once again to everybody out there who joined me and tuned in this afternoon. It means so much more to me than you guys will ever know. And I will see you guys next time.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.